Newly leaked audio is out, and it shows Donald Trump talking about classified documents in which he says these documents are secret, and that when he was president, he could have declassified them. Seemingly a smoking gun. Donald Trump knew in 2021 the documents in his possession were in fact still classified national security documents. He did not declassify them. Now, certainly, there's many things to say about Donald Trump. I don't think he's the best at dealing with the political landscape, and this certainly does throw a cold splash of water in the face of everyone who said that Donald Trump could have just said they were declassified, and they were. That still stands. Donald Trump as president still had at the time plenary declassification powers. And all this audio really shows is that Trump is a bit tactless. He can still say he declassified them now simply because he told some reporters and some individuals that they were secret and he should have, doesn't mean he didn't. It just strikes at his credibility. It's not damning evidence they want you to believe it is. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, because this is what the prosecution will bring about, it shows Trump did not classify. It's certainly circumstantial evidence to that fact, though I'm sure Trump will argue something like, I did. I was just trying to ham it up to make it sound like it was more important. Sure. In the audio, he talks about how Milley wanted to attack Iran, was going to blame him for it. But let's just say this. I give Trump no benefits of the doubt. I think it's entirely possible he never did anything to express declassification of these documents, didn't think it was a big deal, considering Hillary Clinton did worse. But that still puts him in the crosshairs of federal prosecutors who have been trying to destroy him this whole time. So I'll tell you why I'm upset about the whole thing. The corruption of the Bidens, I can bring it up and I can explain to you the double standard. The corruption of the Clintons, and I'll bring it up and explain to you the double standard. It may be that Trump is now trying to drum up some argument as to how he did declassify this, despite the fact that he'd previously stated he did not. I don't know if that matters in a full legal context, because you can still argue as soon as the president took them, they were no longer classified. And this audio only really shows that Trump is a braggart who is trying to sound cool, because telling some random people I didn't do it doesn't really mean anything if he de facto did. But we'll see how that all plays out. The big story is that Trump is blasting the deranged prosecutor, Jack Smith, and accusing him of working with the DOJ and FBI to leak the audio to CNN, in which the former president admits to having classified documents he took from the White House. Let me play for you this clip, and oh boy, let's talk about the fractured corruption in the DOJ in this country, and oh boy, Trump's failures. No question, he is bad at this. And you know what? It's coming to haunt him. I want to play for you the audio. The first thing I want to say is this, to reiterate earlier points. Hillary Clinton did have a confidential, classified information on her private servers. Her staffers destroyed this information. It is illegal to do so. Hillary Clinton did retain. She's not even the president. And what did we hear from Comey? No prosecutor would bring this case forward. So while we're talking about Donald Trump as president taking classified documents, the standard by which we've all been operating is it's fine, especially considering Joe Biden himself took documents as vice president, which were also classified. So by all means, liberals, leftists, anti-Trumpers, I will clap and cheer for you when you bring forward the evidence in court against Donald Trump seeking his prosecution. Thank you for finally going after a president. I will now demand and expect criminal prosecution of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. If you think you are going to go after Trump for this crime by which Biden and Hillary Clinton are also guilty, if you do not go after them, you are proving the point we have all been making. The prosecution is political, and you show me the man and I will show you the crime. Thus, should Donald Trump be prosecuted? By the current standards that we've been applying to Democrats? No. To be honest, by my standards, I would say yes, absolutely. You want to play this game? Yes. But this means I will only I will only be satisfied and agree with you liberals when you drop the hammer on Hillary and Joe Biden as well. But see, this is the problem. I know you're not going to. So why am I going to complain about a president taking classified documents? I don't care at all. Because if a Secretary of State can do it and a Vice President can do it and they have no declassification powers and you won't prosecute them, by what standard are you claiming Trump broke the law? So spare me your leaked audio bombshell. I just don't care because we know Biden did it. We know Clinton did it and you don't care. So why should I? Now, if you want to talk about prosecuting a president and you come to me and say Donald Trump's drone strikes, Donald Trump's commando raids, dead 8-year-old American girl, I will be like, oh boy, yes, I hereby declare, I demand an investigation of the Donald Trump administration into the death of the 8-year-old American girl in Yemen. I demand it. And while we're at it, I expect you'll bring up charges against Barack Obama for the drone strike on a civilian cafe that killed 16-year-old American citizen Abdulrahman al-Awlaki. You get my point. If you want to talk about prosecuting presidents, tell me you're going to launch an inquiry into the death of that 8-year-old girl. And I'll say, yeah, absolutely. Right now, it's hearsay, circumstantial evidence. We don't know for sure what really happened. That's an accusation. It warrants an investigation. As for the death of 16-year-old American citizen Abdulrahman al-Awlaki, we know that happened. That's confirmed in the New York Times. And Barack Obama, nothing. This, to me, I want to see accountability for all of these people. I don't care if it's Trump or anyone else. But you know it won't happen. All that's really happening is they're using the DOJ to target their political rival. But I'm going to make sure you hear the audio from Trump himself. I'm going to play it.
Sick people.
Take a listen.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him.
I'll pause real quick and just say, Donald Trump's trust of the corporate press is hilarious. And you know what? He deserves a lot of this.
We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Mm-hmm. Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time,
she'd send it. No, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner,
Yeah.
the pervert.
Please print.
By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying because we were talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack Iran and what. These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
Declassify.
figure out
it. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so. Here and I have. And you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
It's
you.
incredible, right?
No,
Hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
So who is recording this, I wonder? Now, Donald Trump saying a lot of dumb things. Saying things like, it's secret. I could have declassified it. I didn't. Does that mean he did not? Well, it certainly means he didn't think he did, and that evidence will be brought against him. And so be it. Trump thinks he's going to sit down with these writers and he can say all this stuff and that's fine. Now it seems the most likely scenario is that because he's being charged, Trump is taking the stance of, well, I did declassify it because I was president, so it's just declassified. And that is technically the truth. The defense will likely make the argument that Trump was just hamming it up for writers or was making the claim it was secret because he didn't want them to actually write about it. There's a lot of things that can be said in a court of law. But Trump does himself no favors. And I will say this definitively. It seems more likely Trump did not expect this information declassified, did not think it mattered that he had it, and once they came for him, then publicly came out and said, I declassified this, I swear. And you can argue technically he did by having it, but now you're just getting into weird legal theories. The reality of the situation is thus. For the longest time, before we knew about the audio or whatever Trump had said, the assumption was Trump took it under the assumption that it actually was just declassified by him taking it. Now we see in this audio, actually Trump didn't think it was declassified, and now he thinks he can't declassify it. So you know what? He's gotten himself in this trouble, and I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, at the time, a few months ago, we didn't have the audio. We have it now. I will give a special shout out because I made the joke about after DeSantis did the deepfake thing. I tweeted as a joke. I got to put a Pose Law disclaimer on these things. That audio you heard of Trump, just deepfakes. Now, to be fair, we don't know what the full context of this audio is. And so you can't jump to a legal conclusion based on it. Who was he talking to? What was he saying? Why was he saying it? I'm sure Trump's going to be like, I was just bragging to writers to make it sound like this was actually cool information, when in reality, it actually was declassified garbage. Maybe. But let's just go back and say this. If Trump broke the law, please, by all means, charge him, as they've done, prove it, and hold him accountable for whatever reason. Here's the problem. The system is completely broken. I don't care for Trump. Like, I think Trump's most likely to go in and fire a lot of these people. I think his foreign policy was fantastic. And you shouldn't break the law. I think there's bigger questions around the commando raid that killed that 8-year-old girl, which we've never got an inquiry into. And they'll never charge him over because it would put them at risk for their forever wars. If they're not going after Hillary, if they're not going after Joe Biden, why would I in any way want them to go after Donald Trump? If you do not call for the prosecution of Hillary or Joe Biden and you want the prosecution of Trump, you're a cultist. And this is it. This is why I say civil war, because the DOJ has been weaponized. Now, of course, they're going to say, no, Tim, it's about accountability. Sure. Then lock up Hillary. Come on. 35,000 public records on a private server. Smashing phones with hammers, using BleachBit open source software to purge what we know it was secret, classified information. Not a peep, nothing, not going after him. It's political. That's it. So by all means, please criticize Trump. By all means, don't defend him. Do not. When Trump came out and said, I did declassify it, we gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to give that to him now. He's on this audio recording saying a whole bunch of stuff. I say, okay, fine. Let's see the evidence. But here's what I won't play. I won't play the game where somebody leaks audio to the DOJ and then I'm supposed to make a judgment call based on just that, when I know you have not gone after the Bidens, when you've not gone after Hillary. Now, maybe they'll go after Joe. One thing people are speculating on is that they actually are going to go after Joe Biden over the bribery scandal and the classified document scandal because he is their pariah, the sacrificial lamb. They don't want him. They don't want him to run in 2024. He only won because of COVID the first time because people didn't like Trump. They're not going to have the same luck this time. So what can they do? It's perfect. Now Joe Biden becomes a fall guy. Now they say, look, Joe Biden did it. We're going to charge him. Trump did it. We're going to charge him. We're not playing favorites. And then what do you get? Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis. But I just want to stress this point. And I'll say it. Until the DeSantis campaign publicly deletes the deepfakes, apologizes, and announces they've fired people over it, I will not vote for that man. I won't do it. And the response I get from everybody is, oh, but like Trump never lied. Trump lies a lot. Sorry. He didn't. His campaign did not manufacture deepfakes. It's a big difference. It's seriously a step over a red line that terrifies me. I don't care. Insult me all you want. Say whatever you want. I literally just don't care. So I'm not voting for that guy if it really comes down to it. He can apologize. They still haven't deleted the deepfake. But this is where I think it may go. I don't know for sure. I don't. But they may go after Joe Biden. They're going after Hunter. We got the text message scandal where he's like, I'm in the room with my dad. Send the money or else. I'm paraphrasing. He said, follow my directions or we'll make it bad for you. Paraphrasing. And then a few days later, he gets sent $5 million. So maybe his dad, you can argue, Joe wasn't really in the room with him. Sure. But let's talk about all of this stuff. Let me pull up these tweets. We got Will Sharf, who says, the fact that special counsel Jack Smith's team presumably leaked the audio to CNN only further supports the fact that the prosecution of Trump is politically motivated. I completely agree. They're never going to go after Hillary Clinton. And we know she did this. She has no authority to declassify. She did not declassify. She had classified top secret documents. Where's charges? None. Amazing. Amazing, isn't it? Tom Fitton says, wow, this could be a major government scandal. General Milley seditiously attacked Trump for a plan to invade Iran that Milley himself proposed. Yeah, that's actually a big scandal, too. They're not going to talk about that. Let's go through it all. Orrin McIntyre, in reference to the Hunter Biden scandal, says the smart move for the left would be to just let Biden be the fall guy. No one likes him, and it would give the regime some veneer of legitimacy when it puts Trump on trial, but it won't. They won't. The blatant display of raw power is the point. The right can discover all the smoking guns they want. It means nothing because the GOP is committed to doing nothing. The left steals elections, manufactures race riots, takes massive bribes from foreign nations, and they want you to know about it. They flex. I really do love the Clinton Global Initiative. Yeah, the money just stopped pouring in after Hillary lost the election. Isn't it funny how that works? Merrick Garland is now saying, well, I never. How dare you? Some have chosen to attack the integrity of the Justice Department by claiming they do not treat cases alike. This constitutes an attack on an institution that is essential to American democracy. Nothing could be further from the truth. What a truly evil and depraved man. Seriously. I'd like you to listen to this audio.
Convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, there's still, so they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people. And we're not going to give you the $1 billion.
Joe Biden does not have the authority to threaten or even withhold congressionally approved loan guarantees. A quid pro quo. Joe Biden wanted the prosecutor fired. The argument? Well, it was American policy set by the president. Was it? When you take a look at the quid pro quo related to Trump and Ukraine, he was the president. He set foreign policy. If he told Ukraine that he wanted to investigate corruption in exchange for loan guarantees, military aid, he sets policy, right? You see the game being played. When Joe Biden threatens to have the prosecutor fired, we're told it's the policy of the United States set by the president. So it's not a quid pro quo. When Donald Trump does literally the same thing, the interpretation from the left is, yeah, but he was doing it to dig up dirt on an opponent. But Joe Biden hadn't declared that he was running for office at the time. He was not a presidential candidate. Donald Trump was just investigating corruption. That's it. They called it a scandal. They said the president doesn't have the authority to withhold congressionally approved loan guarantees. Then why did Obama? Why did Joe Biden? Now we can take a look at going further. Firing the prosecutor was the quid pro quo. End of story. And we get the argument from when we had Emma Vigeland on saying that, policy is set by Congress, actually. And a quid pro quo is personal gain. No. Quid pro quo is something for something. Biden said, I will withhold loan guarantees. I have no authority to withhold unless you do something I want you to do. Quid pro quo. Now, Victor Shokin, the prosecutor who got fired, signed a sworn affidavit saying he was told he was fired because he was investigating Burisma, the company where Hunter Biden was on the board. Isn't it funny how all that works? By all means, you can charge Donald Trump. I don't care. But when you ignore the crimes of the previous administration, Hillary and Joe, and now he's sitting president. You expect me to sit back and think it's a good faith effort? It's not. If Trump is guilty of anything, it's being dumb, trusting journalists and taking documents he shouldn't have taken. Not the biggest deal in the world by their own standard. Nobody cared. Hillary Clinton had the emails. In fact, they tweet but her emails. Hillary Clinton did. So if no one really cares about these documents, why should I? I'll tell you what I care about. Dead 8-year-old American girl. Can we investigate that? You want to lock up Trump? Hey, you announce you're arresting him for you're launching an investigation into that? And I'll say, thank you. Thank you, finally. I'm not convinced Trump is guilty in this regard, but I demand it be investigated. It's an accusation. Trump did order a commando raid in Yemen and drone strikes. Investigate them. Now, they'll argue that the president has, unilateral authority when it comes to issues of the military. No, he doesn't. Congress declares war, and we are not at war with Yemen. So why are these things happening? I demand answers. So I'll tell you this, left, liberals. Don't come at me with your stupid documents garbage. You're lying. Come at me and let's talk about the dead girl. Come at me and let's talk about the American girl who was killed in a commando raid. I want evidence. I want an investigation. And then we'll arrest Obama as well. How about that? Yeah, I didn't think so. Spare me. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all then.